everyone, welcome to Jolly Molly TV. Today we're going to do another fun block in Kimberbell's Pumpkins and Potions ladder quilt project. And today's video we're going to work on ghost number 2, which is this fun block right here that has 3 ghosts on it. So this will be fun. So go ahead and grab your plastic pouch or bag system that you've labeled ghost number 2. And let's head over to the machine and let's get started stitching. All right, we're at the machine. I have a bobbin of white thread down below. I am using my 9.5 by 9.5 inch hoop, and I have placed a piece of the poly no-show mesh stabilizer in that hoop. I want you to get your plastic pouch system that you have labeled ghost number 2, and we're going to pull all that out. You also need a piece of batting 5 inches by 9 inches. Okay, and if you're using the embellishment kit, there's a piece of gauze that we're going to talk about in a little bit that you can pull out if you want to use that. I'll give you my opinion on that in just a few minutes here, but let's load the design first. Okay, so let's go to Embroidery. I'm going to go to my flash drive. I'm going to go to Pumpkins and Potions, and we're going to go to the quilting designs. And I am looking for Halloween 9, which is right here. And I'm looking for a 4 by 8 inch design. 4 by 8, which is right there. That's the one I'm looking for. Has ghost on it and the jack-o'-lantern. That's going to be cute. Alright, so now I'm going to click set. I'm going to add the main embroidery design. If your machine can't add, don't worry about it. You'll go ahead and stitch this out, clear your machine memory, and then load your embroidery design and then stitch that out. So I'm going to go ahead and click add. I'm going to go back to my flash drive, back to Pumpkins and Potions, and I want to pull up ghost 2, which is the one right here that has 3 little ghosts on it. That's the one. Click set. It brings it in. It's perfectly centered. We don't have to do anything to it. We click embroidery. Yay! And let's go back to the hoop cam. Let's talk about the fabric and the gauze. This is my background fabric that I'm using for this block. I'm using my own stash, so this is going to be different than the one that you might be using for your block. Then I'm using a piece of my favorite fabric, which is a white with a glitter, so my ghost will sparkle. All right. In the embellishment kit, Kimberbell gave us a piece of gauze, and they have this cool idea of using this gauze as an embellishment on top of the white fabric in 2 layers. Okay, this is just my opinion on this one. Gauze is very delicate. You can see I'm already developing holes in my gauze just by handling it. It's a cool effect. I give that to Kimberbell, but I'm not exactly convinced that it's going to hold up over time. This quilt could get wear and tear, could be folded. My fear is it's going to get snagged on the chandelier beads and make holes in the gauze. Gauze also frays super easily because it's very delicate. So while I love the look of it, I'm actually not going to be using it in my blocks. But when we get to that stage, I will show you how to lay it down and when to do it, just in case you still want to use it. But an alternative to not using the gauze is just use a sparkly piece of fabric. That will give the ghost kind of a shimmer effect. That's what I'm going to do as my alternate. All right, but when we get to that step, I will show you how to incorporate the gauze into the project in case you still want to use that. That's cool. All right, so now I am going to get a thread out of my stash that's going to blend in and match with this background fabric, whatever background fabric you have. All right, so we're going to stitch the first few stitches in this thread, and I'm actually going to go all the way up, probably including the quilting in this color thread. So choose a thread that matches your background fabric and load that in the top of your machine. All right, we've got a loop. Let's get that loop out. Okay, let's put this background fabric aside. And let's start stitching. So put the foot down. Let's stitch out the placement line for the batting. Okay, now I'm going to put my batting down and make sure that I cover all sections of that placement line. Now I am actually using 2 little scrap pieces of batting on this project because I happen to have it and I don't want to waste. So I have 2 pieces. I put the big one on there and I have the second one down here. I just want to butt it up so that they're against each other. I want to make sure the foot does not catch it as it stitches everything down. All right, so put your batting down, same color thread up on top, and let's tack down this batting. Okay, and isn't that fun? It shows you can actually use scrap pieces of batting when the need comes up, and you can utilize some of that so you're not wasting stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and take the hoop off the machine, take this over to the table, and I want you to trim away all of the excess batting from around all 4 sides of that stitch line, and I'll meet you right back here. All right, so now let's put the foot down and let's stitch the placement line for the fabric. Same color thread up on top. Here we go. Okay, now I want you to place your fabric right side up and cover all of that placement line. And then you can actually feel for the batting on the sides and the top of the bottom to make sure you have plenty of room around the outside of that batting. If you have a directional fabric, make sure you have the fabric as the top here and the bottom down here, because that's where we're stitching. All right, so use your stylus, put the foot down, keep your fingers away from the moving needle, and let's tack down the fabric. I just want to say a huge thank you to Kimberbell for sponsoring me in this project and for providing the Pumpkins and Potions quilting bundle for me to use in this project. This quilting bundle is amazing. It is definitely something that you can look at in order to enhance this project. It comes with all of these amazing designs. You get a cauldron, you get a spider web, some happy ghosts that look like they have little glasses on. This border is amazing. I cannot wait to show you the borders. And you get this cool pumpkin and ghost and 31 on there. It's just a bunch of fun. So if you're able to get this quilting bundle, it's going to just make your project pop. The borders, I cannot wait. Look at these borders. There's 2 of them, and I'm going to try to incorporate both of them in this project. You get enough files in each of the designs to be able to do any combination of size that you could possibly think of for this project and our other projects. And you also get the block towel sizes for the clear blue towels quilting method as well in each of the designs. So I highly recommend, if you can do this, this is amazing. Please use the link in the description below to purchase the bundle from Kimberbell.com. Okay, so now we're at my favorite part, the quilting design. I'm going to go ahead and quilt it using the same thread I have up on top, which matches my background fabric, because I want it to blend in. I kind of have a busy background, and then we're going to have ghost on top. so I want the quilting to blend into the fabric. So choose the color thread you'd like your quilting to be, put that up on top. Let's put the foot down, and this is a 5-minute in real life stitch out. Enjoy. Very nice quilting. Love that. Okay, so now we need to put white thread in the top of our machine because we're going to be stitching the placement line for the ghost. Okay, so put white thread up in the top of your machine and we'll stitch this out. Okay, it's a 1-minute stitch out. Here we go. Okay, so now I'm going to take the hoop gently off the machine just so I can see what I'm doing better. So now I want to lay down my main fabric for the ghost, and I want to make sure that I have total coverage on all sides. Alright, so that's good. Okay, now if you want to use the gauze, basically, you want to put down 2 layers of the gauze. Okay, mine's not cut, but I'm just going to lay it down just so you get an idea of what it's going to look like. Okay, so this is layer number 1. Would lay this down, and then I would have a second piece that I'm going to lay over it and position it. This is the challenging part. I'm gonna there. And of course yours is already pressed out gently so you don't have any of the lines. I didn't press mine out because I wasn't going to use it, but that's basically what you're looking to do. As you're looking to cover this, mainly cover the fabric. You don't have to cover all of this like I have up here, but you want to cover the base fabric down there so you make sure that when it stitches out all the ghost, it's going to catch the gauze on all sides. And then you gently put that hoop back on the machine, leave white thread up on top, okay? And then you're going to stitch down. I would use my stylus. You're going to stitch down the 2 layers of the gauze and the fabric. Okay, that's all you got to do. That's exactly what it'll look like. Okay, so let's go ahead and stitch that down. I didn't lose my thread here. Here we go. Foot down, and let's tack down the fabric and the gauze if you're using the gauze. Here we go. Very nice. Okay, so now we're going to stitch the leaf detail at this time. We're not going to trim this fabric up yet. Kimberbell wants us to stitch the orange leaf detail first. So I'm going to put orange thread in the top of my machine. And this is a 5-minute in real life stitch out. All right, you got this. It's coming together nicely. All right. And here we go. Isn't that pretty? I love that orange on the green fabric there. That's a very good color combination. Okay, so now I'm going to put white thread back in the top of my machine. But before I do that, I want to check my bobbin. So I'm going to take my hoop off gently, and I want to make sure I have a good amount of bobbin thread left down below, because we're going to be doing satin stitches around all three of the ghosts, and that's a lot of thread that's going to be used. So we want to make sure that we don't run out of bobbin thread during the middle of the satin stitches. It's okay if it happens. It's just a challenge because you need to reposition the machine back to where it needs to start to secure the stitches and then continue on without leaving a large bump in your satin stitch. So I prefer to just make sure that I've got a good amount of bobbin down below. If it happens, it happens, but this way I can try to prevent some of those instances, all right? Okay, so now I want you to take the hoop off the machine, and I want you to take this over to the table, and I want you to trim away very close to the outside of all three of these ghosts, okay, and get rid of all this excess fabric. If you have a pair of curved scissors like this is really helpful because it's curved upwards, so it helps when you cut so you don't stab the fabric or the stabilizer behind it. So go ahead and trim off that excess fabric, and I'll meet you right back here. Okay, so I've trimmed those up, and now I've checked my bobbin down below. I have plenty of white thread left down there. Make sure I have some white thread up in the top of my machine, and now I'm ready to stitch out the satin stitches around all three ghosts. This is an 11-minute in real life stitch out. Here we go. Enjoy. There you go. That was a lot of stitching, huh? Okay, so now we have one stitch left to do, and we need to put black thread in the top of our machine in order to do that stitch out, and we're going to be doing the eyes and the nose for all three ghosts, and then we're done stitching. You got this. You're almost done. All right, so load your machine with black thread. This is a 3-minute in real life stitch out, so let's go. Isn't that cute? We got one little jump stitch there that we can take care of at the table, not a problem. Isn't that cute? I really like, especially with the glitter fabric behind it. I think that's adorable. Okay, so let's go ahead and take the hoop off your machine. Let's take it over to the table, and I'll show you how to finish up this block. All right, isn't this another cute block in this project? Each one is so cute. I just love doing projects by Kimberbell. They're so much fun. All right, so now we're going to square up this block, and I need you to look for this outer stitch line, because that's what we're going to measure to see if that's the right size, which it probably is. So we want to measure it to 4.5 by 8.5 inches. So I'm going to take my ruler and look from this line to this line is 4.5 inches. And from that line to this line is just shy of 8.5. So that's exactly what we want to use to guide us to trim up this block. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it sideways because my ruler's kind of more like the size of the stabilizer. And I'm going to go to that stitch line. That stitch line looks pretty straight. So I'm on it, and now I'm going to go just a hair past it. And we're going to make our first cut. Just like that. Okay, then I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to line it up with my mat. And this is going to be 8.5 inches. So if I'm at line 18, I'm going to go to line 10.5. And I'm going to line my ruler up on top and bottom. And can I see that stitch line? Yes, I can. So I can make my cut. I say that because that's my mental note of, am I in the right space to cut? Yes, because I can see that stitch line. All right, those two sides are done. We're going to do the same thing with this side. I'm going to line up both the fabric with this line on the ruler and the stitch line because I can tell the stitch line is not straight. So I'm going to line it up with all the way to here, and then this stitch line comes out a little bit. But I know I'm lined up with the bottom here, so that is where I'm going to trim. Okay. Sometimes the stitch lines are straight and sometimes they're not. It's okay. The main thing is to get your block straight. So now I'm going to do 4.5. So if I'm at line 16, I'm going to go to line 12.5. Line up my fabric and my ruler on the 12.5. Can I see the stitch line? Yes, I can. So I can make my cut. And ta-da! You trimmed up your ghost block. Isn't that adorable? I love that. And I think it looks really cool with the eyeball fabric too. It's all spooky. Okay, well, I hope you had as much fun today making this block as I have. You did it. Congratulations. And I hope to see you here again on Jolly Molly TV for more fun and more blocks in Kimberbell's adorable Pumpkins and Potions ladder quilt project. And until I see you next time, take care and happy stitching. Bye-bye.